Good morning, everybody. So today is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, all that good stuff. I like Hump Day. It means we almost there. But I'm at the site of one of our assisted livings. I'm deciding to do this video from. I thought this would be a good idea for me to emphasize certain points that I want to make about living in a limitless environment, living your life in a limitless way. So to give you a little bit about my testimony, part of my testimony is that for 10 years, since 2009, my cousin and I had the idea to do an elder care business. We wanted to do an assisted living. And we came upon that idea because we wanted to do something in real estate. We wanted to rent houses. Then we looked at the vacancy percentage on that. Okay, if you're renting houses, then as soon as that house is vacant, you're 100% vacant. All right, didn't like that idea. Then we thought about, okay, what if we just rent rooms? Okay, you rent rooms, so then now your vacancy percentage is reduced. You mitigate the loss of vacancy when you rent rooms. Then we took it even further and said, oh my God, each room you can put at least 2 beds in. So now we can rent beds. And that's where the assisted living model sort of came from. So, and not only that, we have longevity on both sides of the family. Everybody makes it until probably 80 for the most part. And our great-grandfather, he didn't pass to go to be with the Lord until 101. So this was a way that we could make money, enrich the lives of others, and still help our own profit line. We took that a step further. So just to tell you about how you live in the limitless realm. We wanted to do it with our own resources. Now in 2009, all of us was in our 20s, my cousin and my sister, because the 3 of us, we're doing the business. And so, life is just getting started. So you're trying to start a new business. By that time, I'm getting closer to being full-time in my practice. So it took 10 years because we needed the investment. I'm sitting on the steps, I'm about to move. We needed the investment. So we had to wait. Then one day my cousin had the idea, maybe even the foresight, to have us watch a movie. And the movie that we decided to watch was The Founder. And it was about not Ronald McDonald. It was about Ray Kroc, who really started the McDonald's Corporation. Some might even say stole it from the McDonald's brothers. But let's talk about that. So I actually don't think that Ray Kroc stole it from the McDonald's brothers. I want to say this to everybody that's listening. Ideas come from the spirit realm. Inspiration does not belong to any one of us. The root word in inspiration is spirit. So ideas come from the causal realm. They come from the spirit realm. And if you're not going to be responsible to be the vehicle that the spirit realm wants to use, that God wants to use to birth it into this realm, then guess what? Somebody else is going to be raised up to birth it through. Okay, there's going to be a surrogate to birth forth that thing that you were not obedient to bring forth. So don't be crying talking about somebody stole your idea. No, it was given to you. You should have guarded it. And you should have done what was proper for you to do with that gift before it was stolen. Okay, let me get off of that for a second. But if I'm going back to the point. So now we after we watched that, that movie, I was stirred up. Okay, because I'm getting into now kingdom thinking. I'm getting into now walking into the limitless realm. And I said, you know what, God, we have come as far as we can come with our own resources. How can we make this thing happen? Because I know you gave this to us. And I went back to my investors, not my investors, but the partners, my cousin and my sister. And I said, we can franchise this idea. Went through the process of franchising. Then we realized we didn't want to franchise it, we wanted to license it. And we wanted to allow other investors to leverage off of our 10 years of research in this business. So now, with those limits being broken off, we sat down and we got a proposal together. And all of a sudden, after 10 years, what we tried to do with our own limitation, with that mindset of scarcity, 10 years we got one on our own. And since January of this year, we have a waiting list of 10 investors, and we have 2 that we're currently working on. And this is house number 2 that we have with our investors. I am living proof of what can happen when you take the limits off of your mind. There's no such thing as scarcity. If we're talking about making quantum leaps, if we know what the quantum world really is, the quantum world really is the spirit world. Because if we're talking quantum, we're talking about matter going down to its very smallest form. We're talking about matter going down so small to the point where it's not even physical anymore, it's energetic. And another word for energy is spirit. The earth realm, here on earth, this is a shadow of the heavenly realm. So I ask you, do you want the shadow or do you want the real thing? You can do anything with the shadow. Shadows distort. Shadows can be manipulated. Shadows are not real. And many of us are living in this shadow as though it were the real us. Many of us look at our circumstances as though they are real. And yes, I'm sure that cancer that you may have been diagnosed with seems very real. But if we go into the spirit realm, if we go into the quantum realm, let's shift the real us. I have biblical proof for you that we already have access to that energetic realm. Ephesians 2:6 tells us that we are seated in heavenly places. We're already in the cosmos. We already have occupation in the cosmos. And what's more, God gave us dominion over this earth. So when things happen that don't go your way, you have the power of life and death in your tongue. I want to show you something at the front of this house. And before we get there, I want to tell you that we have met opposition after opposition with trying to get this thing off the ground. And every time the opposition comes, I'm like, God, I don't know if I can take anymore. And then I have to refresh my thinking and say, no, I can take whatever you bring us, because guess why opposition comes? Guess why tests come? You think that you're going real high and you're going to the next level in God? Okay, then you have to meet the principality that guards that level. You're not just going to take spoils of war and not have to fight for it. You're not just going to be able to take territories and not have to prove yourself for it. That's what we're going to be doing in this 21-day course. We're going to be building capacity. If we're here, where I am is here, right now, and before I build capacity, I want to go here. But before I get here, there are things in the intermediary that I want. And everything in this realm is tied to an energy level. So I'm here. The spouse that I want is here. The children I want are here. The promotion I want is here. The house I want is here. But if I'm here and I never do anything different to build capacity, then I will stay here. There's no way I can vibrate and be on this energetic level. But for example, if you go through a course like the one I'm offering here, capacity is going to be built. You're going to look at, and a lot of these keys, I would even call secrets, they have been hidden in plain sight all throughout life. But if you don't have the proper strength, if you don't have the proper coach to help you wield that power, you won't be able to access it. It's almost like Excalibur's sword. So many of King Arthur's best soldiers tried to pull that sword out of the stone, and they couldn't. You have to have the requisite ability to wield that power. The power has been given to us. We're already seated in heavenly places. But the reason why we keep being stagnant and why we keep plateauing is because no one has really ever stopped to learn, how do I wield that power? So we get over here to this house, okay? This wasn't nothing easy to get. And once we got this house, then we started getting opposition. We take a little walk to the front. Start getting opposition. So the city, they talking to us. Folk telling us that we need this, we need that, we need the other. And it seems like the thing is never going to get done. What are you going to do when you have opposition in your face? What are you going to do when you have a threat against your dream? Matter of fact, let's not even talk about your dream. Let's talk about your children. Let's talk about your family. What are you going to do? You send your child to school, and there's somebody strange lurking around the school. Are you going to sit back and be timid and say, I hope and pray everything work out for my child that's going over here and I see strange people walking around? No. You need to have the same tenacity and the same fight when it comes to your dream, just like you would your child or your relative. So I had to have some tenacity and say, you know what, God, you gave us this vision. You gave us this business. And what do I need to do? So we went into prayer. Don't sleep on prayer. Don't sleep on it. Let me see, can I turn this thing around? Anyway, can y'all see that? We still digging. We still moving. We're still operating. One of the obstacles that we had to come up against and overcome was the fact that we need sprinkler systems for this particular investment. There were none here when we got here. But it's going to be some here when we leave. It's going to be some here at this one. It's going to be some at whatever one that we decide to go to. Because we ain't stopping. Nothing is going to separate me and stop me from the call of my life that God has placed on it. I am determined to do something different, to stop going in circles. I'm not going to be in this wilderness 40 years. I already got 10 years under my belt. Not going to do it. Okay, we got sprinklers. We got that taken care of. Then, after we put all of this money into it, then the county wanted to say, oh, you can't even be at that location because there's another assistant living within 1,000 feet. It was almost like every week I was going into prayer real hard. And I'm like, God, something else? So I went into prayer. And after I came out of prayer, I found out that there was a hearing process. And that a lot of the regulations that they're trying to push, they don't understand themselves. The house and everything that we want is here. Maybe we were somewhere around here, but what do? We go back and we find out, what do I need to do to build capacity? What do I need to do to get my energy level up to that thing that I want? That promotion is here, but you're still here. And you still want to go home and prioritize watching Greenleaf. You still want to prioritize going out with your friends. You need to be somewhere building capacity. You need to be somewhere listening to somebody that's already made it. Because here's the difference. This is why a mastermind is always the best way to success. Because if I'm here and I have somebody in my network that's here, they can literally, in the non-physical realm, by what they say out of their mouth, and by just them being an example to you. You have friends right now that you can think of that when you're in the low place and when you're in the pit, just the thought of that person coming to your mind makes you happy. The same thing happens when you have somebody that's already anointed for a certain thing. They can literally reach down and pull you up to where they are. That's why we are not to forsake the assembly of the saints. You have to come into community with people. That's what I'm offering in this course. I hope that you will go ahead and register. I'll put the link on this video. It's going to be 21 days of a very exciting journey. I'm looking forward to the feedback that a lot of us are going to have. And really, a lot of us that are going to go through this course, you're already dynamic. You already have something on the inside of you. You just need that one little shift, that one little tweak, because that's what happened to me. That one little tweak that just pushes you where you need to go. And after that, many of you from here might be able to start groups of your own. Because we shouldn't keep this a secret. We have to keep this going. Because I know I'm running my mouth hard. Because I was almost downright embarrassed. Now, I was raised in the church. I was almost born and delivered right there on the pew. So I've been in church for a very, very long time. And I have to say that this book, if this book had been called something like Jesus, 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 or the 12 steps to the kingdom of heaven, or anything church related, I would not have picked it up. Let me just be honest. Are we friends? Can I talk to my friends on live? I would not have touched it. Because I had gotten to a point where I was tired of church. I was tired of seeing weak ministers. Let's just talk about it. I was tired of people professing Christ. I was tired of people professing God, and they had no power. You broke. And you trying to tell me something about a limitless God. Get out my face. I didn't want to hear any of that. And I'm sitting in church, and I'm leaving. I'm slowly leaving, but I'm still there because I don't have the heart to leave God. And I know it's not God that my issue is with. It's with his representatives that are too lazy to do what it takes to just wield his power. That's all we have to do, is be consistent. The power has been made available to us. So I want us, as many of us that can do it, go ahead and register for the course. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. But again, like I said, I was embarrassed. I was downright embarrassed to see that everything was right there the whole time. But I allowed a scarcity mindset to keep me from progressing and moving to the next level. I also allowed my own personal attitude with people to cloud my judgment about a God that has always been there and that has always loved me and that has always had all of my gifts and my rewards right there for me. It was up to me to use the proper key to open up that door. We all have the keys. We just sitting there fumbling around trying to find the right key, and out of all of the keys that we have, for whatever reason, we and our retarded self keep picking the wrong one and keep trying to open up the key to everything, and we can't because we don't know which one it is. Y'all be blessed. Join the class. It's coming soon. It's going to be sometime in October, but I want to take this time to give you time for the investment. It will be an investment at least of $50.